I'm Danny Smith. I taught myself how to read. Back in second grade, teachers told me I could not learn, and they put me in special ed. All through elementary, we would go up to the teacher's desk one by one and read to her, then we would do math. After that, she would call everybody on the floor and she would read to us, and we would take naps for 1 hour. Then we would watch Sesame Street and Electric Company, and after lunch we would go outside and play till it was time to go home. When I got into high school, I thought I had a chance to learn, but I was wrong. And I didn't care about learning, and I never learned how to read. Well, anyways, when I was 37, I went to the Adult Learning Center, and they closed down after 2 months. And what little I learned, I taught myself how to read. When they reopened, I went there for 5 years till I met Dr. Petty and Dr. Powers, and they signed me up to my first class. I want to read 2 poems. This is my very first poem. Made a promise. I made a promise to myself one day that I'd go to college someday. Going to college is a dream. Is a dream of mine. I never learned the way I should when I was in school. I was a slow learner in special ed. I never learned about history, social studies, English. I didn't know what fractions and algebra was when I was in school. So I wish I could go to college. It's a dream of mine. It means so much to me to go to college someday. And it was my dream to write poems about my dream. But Dr. Petty said it started to sound like a broken record. And Dr. Petty's always right. Even Dr. Powers says she is all the time. And I wrote this poem, The Stranger. There once was someone very special that came into my mom's life one day. He had promised to love her forever, and he was very good to me and my brother. Me and my brother was very happy when he asked our mom to marry him one day. The day he married our mom was when he became a stranger that lived in our house. He would yell at our mom and make her cry, and he was mean to me and my brother. My brother had moved out, and I stayed with our mom and that stranger that lived in our house. Every night when I was in bed, I would hear him yelling at my mom and make her cry. Sometimes he would make her sleep on the floor. I would get out of bed and kneel on the floor. The best way I knew how, I would ask the Lord to help me and my mom, for there was a stranger that lived in our house. The Lord saw that our mom had enough, and he took her away from us. Now she's in heaven, where me and my brother will see her forever. Now me and my brother had moved on with our lives. Now my brother had found someone very special, and they got 2 special boys that will be preachers one day. When I think of our mom, how she is proud of us all. Me and my brother think of our mom and how special she was to us. But I try not to remember the time when there was a stranger that lived in our house. Well, Dr. Petty and Powers helped me a whole lot, and last year I got an honorary graduate diploma from WKU alumni, and Dr. Petty can explain what that is, and that's probably the closest I may ever come to graduating. But they still get on to me about reading and writing all the time because they want to see more of it. There's one more thing I'm going to do, and I'll give it back to Dr. Petty. When I learned about history, I learned about history through Johnny Cash's songs. And one of the things I learned how to do when I taught myself how to read is say the presidents in order. I'm not going to be looking, so I'm going to be looking at the camera, and I'm going to tell you the presidents. Dr. Petty can tell you that I can do it. She don't lie. From Virginia, George Washington. From Massachusetts, John Adams. From Virginia, Thomas Jefferson. From Virginia, James Madison. From Virginia, James Monroe. From Massachusetts, John Quincy Adams. From South Carolina, Andrew Jackson. From New York, Martin Van Buren. From Virginia, William H. Harris. From Virginia, John Tyler. From North Carolina, James K. Polk. From Virginia, Zachary Taylor. From New York, Melville Moore. From New Hampshire, Franklin Spears. From Pennsylvania, James Buchanan. From Kentucky, Abraham Lincoln. From North Carolina, Andrew Johnson. From Ohio, U.S. Grant. From Ohio, Rutherford B. Hayes. From Ohio, James A. Garfield. From Vermont, Chester A. Arthur. From New Jersey, Grover Cleveland. From Ohio, Benjamin Harris. From New Jersey, Grover Cleveland. From Ohio, William McKinley. From New York, Theodore Roosevelt. From Ohio, William H. Taft. From Virginia, Woodward Wilson. From Ohio, Warren G. Harding. From Vermont, Calvin Coolidge. From Iowa, Herbert C. Hoover. From New York, Franklin D. Roosevelt. From Missouri, Harry S. Truman. From Texas, Dwight D. Eisenhower. From Massachusetts, John F. Kennedy. From Texas, Lyndon B. Johnson. From California, Richard M. Nixon. From Nebraska, Junior R. Ford. From Georgia, Jimmy Carter. From Illinois, Ronald Reagan. From Massachusetts, George H.W. Bush. From Arkansas, William J. Clinton. From Connecticut, George W. Bush. From Illinois, Barack Obama. Well, you can tell I'm a little nervous from everybody. But Dr. Petty can tell you the rest of the story, and if it wasn't for Dr. Petty and Powers meeting them, I don't know where I'd be. They gave me a chance for my dream come true. And I give anything to trade places with those students. Even though I may not graduate the way I want to, but I'm never going to give up my college dream. So, back to you, Dr. Petty.